Our story kicks off with a city completely wrecked, all thanks to a mysterious excavation that ended up breaking an ancient seal. Oops. As a result, a strange red mist started spreading, and anyone who inhaled it went completely bonkers before they met their end. But it was a different story for most other creatures. They morphed into terrifying monsters with bizarre abilities, now known as aberrations. Amidst this chaos, we see a young guy with a transformed arm, just staring out at all the destruction around him. Wherever these things went, they left a trail of destruction, turning entire cities into absolute ruins. The monster started attacking people, and fear spread like wildfire, a full-blown panic-demic. In an attempt to contain the threat, the army was called in, and a military aircraft quickly fired a missile. The creatures creep toward him, baring their teeth and getting ready to pounce. Realizing the situation, RMC's eyes glow red, and he screams the girl's name once more. He then charges the monsters, and using his mutated arm, he starts laying into all the creatures. After the assault, the protagonist feels a sharp pain in his arm, which is now glowing in intense red. Even with his transformed body, he holds his ground among the rubble, ready for whatever comes next. The determined look, his glowing eyes fixed, he whispers Xiao Shu's name one more time. He then struggles to walk through the city's debris, continuing to call out for the girl. As he does, he steps on a rag doll lying in the middle of the path. Seeing the toy, our young man kneels and keeps calling for Xiao Shu. His monstrous hand then slowly reaches out to pick up the doll from the ground. But suddenly, before he can even touch it, his arm reverts to its human form. In that moment, a tear of blood rolls down his cheek as he stares at the doll. Alone in the middle of the destroyed city, he screams in desperation, asking where she is. The story then flashes back to 3 days earlier, with a news report talking about a mysterious red mist. Inside a car, we see our protagonist and Xiao Shu stuck in a massive traffic jam. A soldier then bangs on the window, yelling at them to move their car immediately. The army was everywhere, and our protagonist's dad complains that you can never trust the politicians. Xiao Shu says she's scared, but our MC's dad reassures her, saying everything is going to be okay. The protagonist watches the whole chaotic scene unfold, lost in thought about the situation. Meanwhile, the soldiers look up at the sky, wondering what that strange red mist could be. Suddenly, the helicopter in the sky explodes and comes crashing down right on top of the cars. Everyone inside the vehicle is stunned by the scene, and our MC's dad is horrified by what he sees. Seeing the danger, the young man acts fast, shielding his sister and yelling for her to get down. Just then, their car is slammed by another vehicle, causing it to flip over from the impact. Our guy manages to crawl out of the wreckage and yells out worried, asking if his parents are okay. His dad replies that his leg is pinned, while his mom coughs, confused by the whole situation. The protagonist's parents are injured, and Xiao Su is terrified by everything that's happening. Suddenly, the protagonist looks to the side and asks with a frightened voice, "What is that thing?" A giant dragon-like creature appears, and everyone starts running for their lives. Pinned in the wreckage, our MC's dad screams at them to get out of the car and run. Our young man manages to break free and quickly pulls his sister out of the destroyed vehicle. He takes her by the hand, and the two of them start to get out of the car. His parents beg him to take his sister and go, but our MC refuses to leave them behind. Xiao Shu then screams for help as she sees a monster attacking someone right in front of her. Seeing the situation, his mother grabs him and screams desperately for him to run. Now, with a sad smile, his mom asks him to take care of Xiao Su, telling him he's the big brother now. Suddenly, a blast of red energy hits the area, and the two siblings are thrown to the ground. At that moment, one of the monstrous wolves appears right in front of them, ready to attack. Desperate, the two siblings look back and scream for their parents, who are still trapped in the car. The creature, with its glowing red eyes, stares down the siblings, baring its teeth. Our MC tries to go back to help, but his sister holds him back as the wolf closes in on the car. In the sky, a giant flying monster causes even more destruction and chaos throughout the city. Animals weren't the only ones affected by the mist, they were all turning into monsters. People were also going insane, attacking each other in the middle of the street. Running for his life with his sister, our young man wonders what the heck is happening to the world. More creatures appear everywhere, climbing up buildings and racing through the ruined streets to hide inside a store, and our MC covers his sister's mouth as a monster gets close. With his heart in his throat, he watches the creature, hoping it doesn't find them there. Luckily for them, the monster walks right on by, continuing on its way without noticing them. Relieved for a moment, he hugs his sister and tells her the coast is clear, for now. But suddenly, Xiao Shu starts screaming in pain as red veins pop up on her face. Worried, he holds her and asks what's wrong, as she says she doesn't feel well. Just then, he sees his reflection and realizes the same red veins have appeared on his own face. He wonders if this is happening because they breathed in too much of that red mist. Trying to help, he quickly grabs a bottle of water and soaks a piece of cloth. He places the cloth on her face and tells her to cover her mouth and nose to protect herself. But suddenly, the protagonist feels a terrible pain and his eyes begin to glow red. He collapses to the floor, feeling his body burn, and says it feels like something is trying to claw its way out of him. Xiao Shu asks what's wrong, and he tries to say he's fine, but his hand begins to transform. At that exact moment, the same monstrous wolf from before reappears inside the store. His sister gets scared and begs him to stop as the monster inches closer and closer. The creature finally finds them and bares its fangs, preparing to attack the two siblings. Seeing the danger, RMC shoves his sister aside and yells for her to run as the monster lunges. The two of them then manage to escape the store and start running desperately down the street. Just their luck, another giant flying monster swoops down from the sky, heading right for them. Surrounded by yet another creature, a terrified Xiao Shui asks what they're supposed to do now. RMC hugs her tightly and tells her not to be afraid, that he's there to protect her. Suddenly a giant, dragon-like monster plummets from the sky right towards them. The creature slams into the ground, causing a massive shockwave of destruction all around them. Seeing there's no way out, our young man wonders if this is really how it all ends for them. RMC then pulls his sister to safety, but she seems hesitant to follow. Inside, he grabs a pipe and says it's way too dangerous out there, and this is their only shot. With a furious expression, our boy gets ready to face the creature that has them cornered. He then charges at the abomination and lands a blow with all his might, but the pipe shatters. The beast barely even flinches and now glares at RMC with a look of pure rage. Seeing an opening, the beast pounces on our protagonist, who tries to defend himself from the attack. In a quick move, our guy manages to jab something sharp into the monster's eye to break free. In the background, Xiao Zhu asks if her brother is okay, and says she's gonna help him somehow. The creature gets even more furious from the injury and charges with everything it's got as he screams at her to run. So, the girl starts running for her life while he begs her not to look back. Badly injured after the fight, the protagonist starts coughing and spitting blood on the ground. At that moment, an intense pain takes over his body, and he wonders why this is happening now of all times. Meanwhile, the wolf catches up to Xiao Shu, who trips and falls to the ground, screaming in terror. Just before the final blow, the protagonist's arm begins to transform. With a swift move, the protagonist manages to reach the beast that's about to bite Xiao Shu. With his eyes glowing red, he stands over the wolf with a weapon in hand. Possessed by rage, he starts wailing on the creature non-stop, screaming for it to be gone. Xiao Shu watches, horrified by the brutal scene unfolding before her. Then she runs and hugs him from behind, begging her brother to stop this madness. She keeps pleading, and slowly, he seems to calm down and return to normal. He then remembers his mother's words, desperately telling him to run away from there. His parents, though injured, smile and ask him to take care of his sister, because he's the big brother now. A happier memory of his parents surfaces, telling him and Xiao Shu to survive at all costs. Back in the present, now his old self again, he looks at his sister and calls her name. Yoshu looks at him with tears in her eyes, deeply worried about her brother's condition. With a smile, he apologizes for worrying her, and she asks if he's okay now. But just as he's about to answer, another giant abomination appears in the window's reflection behind them. The monster then smashes through the wall, and he quickly grabs his sister to shield her from the danger. The giant bird-like creature lets out a terrifying roar at the two siblings. C then braces for a fight and calls the thing an ugly bird. He then yells for the creature to get away from his sister as he charges forward with his staff. With a powerful strike, our guy manages to knock the giant abomination far back. After the impact, he tells Xiao Shu to hide because he's gonna handle the monsters by himself. The young man then explains that the big one has its eyes on them and he needs to lure it away. Scared, Xiao Shu hugs him and begs him not to go, afraid that he'll lose control again. Our guy calms her down with a pat on the head and promises he won't lose control this time. He holds her gently and asks her to wait there, promising he'll be back soon. With eyes full of worry, she asks him to promise he'll come back safe and sound. With a confident smile, our protagonist swears he'll absolutely be back for her. With that said, our boy takes off running to draw the abominations away from his sister. He then thinks that hunting monsters and absorbing their energy might make him stronger. So, he faces a new monster believing that defeating it will give him the power he needs. The MC then yells for the creature to go down as he stares it down with determination. But the big monster ignores him, and several wolves surround him instead. He's like, "What? Am I not even good enough for you to fight?" Furious, he gets ready to fight, saying he'll have to carve a path to the big boss the hard way. With that, he starts attacking the wolves and lands a solid hit on one of them with his staff. Just then, one of the creatures manages to bite his arm, but he grabs it angrily. Then his arms transform, and he destroys 2 wolves at the same time, screaming for them all to perish. With a wicked smile, he wonders if this is what power feels like, saying it's incredible. In the sky, an old plane suddenly appears, flying straight towards the giant abomination. The flying creature spots the plane, and our guy is just confused by the whole situation. He then looks at his transformed arm and wonders what the heck is happening to him. Just then, the plane fires a missile that comes hurtling down at high speed right towards him. Worried, Xiaoshu comes out of her hiding spot, but he desperately screams for her to stay put. The missile then hits the ground, causing a gigantic explosion that destroys everything around it. The plane flies over the explosion site, and someone on board says there are still survivors. Soldiers arrive but decide to leave the protagonist behind for being infected, taking only Xiaoshu. With that, one of the soldiers picks her up and quickly carries her away from there. Lying on the ground, he reaches out his hand and calls Xiaoshu's name as he's left behind. With a heartbreaking expression, Xiaoshu asks him a question that cuts deep. Why didn't he save her? She asks why he didn't come for her, as our boy desperately screams her name. Just then, his transformed arm is seen amidst the flames of the nightmare that haunts him. And just like that, our protagonist wakes up startled and breathless from the awful dream. Hand on his head, he curses having the same nightmare again, and wonders where his sister could be. That his secret is still safe, our guy gets up and grabs his gear for the job. He recalls searching every last shelter, but found not a single trace of his sister. So he joined the border patrol to get a better shot at finding Xiaosu. And now we get a look at the Chichi City outpost, a place that's seen better days, to put it mildly. It's a total wreck. He finds his captain, Jejun, and apologizes for being late to his shift. But the captain is having none of it. He lands a solid kick and calls him a good-for-nothing rookie. He then orders him up to the watchtower, threatening him not to screw things up. From the top, our MC looks out over the city and the mist that wrecked everything 6 months ago. He stares at the tower, wondering if that monster is still lurking in there. The captain, taking a drag from his cigarette, says if the special unit can't handle it, there's not much they can do. One soldier mentions how famous the special unit is, and the captain scoffs, doubting they could possibly fail. Another soldier chimes in, reminding them they've been taking down aberrations all the way here. Meanwhile, our guy hates the smell of this mist, which seems to make the creatures even more aggressive. Suddenly, he notices something's off. The crimson mist is moving strangely. Our MC then realizes something is heading straight for them, and it's moving fast. One of the soldiers warns the captain that something is wrong, but he just tells the guy to be quiet. But the soldier insists, asking why the mist is coming right for them. The captain's eyes go wide when he sees it's the special response unit, and they're running for their lives. The soldiers ask what happened, but the captain just screams for them to fall back now. Suddenly, one of them gets hit and the captain panics, yelling for everyone to retreat. A sharp claw grabs the captain, who screams in terror. A giant monster emerges from the shadows, and the captain thinks his time is up. From up high, the protagonist hears the desperate screams as everyone tries to escape. Seeing the absolute chaos below, our hero decides to take a leap of faith from the tower to help. With that, a bolt of lightning strikes the ground right in front of the giant creature. Using his transformed arm, he takes down a creature. Right after, the giant aberration appears and tries to swallow him whole. But our MC is too quick. He lands a powerful blow on the creature, continuing his count. With his monstrous hand, he begins to absorb the energy from the defeated aberration. He feels stronger and wonders what would happen if he absorbed even more energy. Just then more creatures show up and he continues his count. With a smirk on his face, he tells the aberrations, "Don't let me down." Suddenly, a purple energy beam hits one of the creatures with full force. Caught off guard by the attack, he turns around, wondering who's there to help. Then, the captain of the Burning Blood Detachment, Sang-ri, appears with a serious expression. Our guy panics when he realizes she's from the Special Response Unit. Desperately, he tries to change his arm back to normal before she can see. But the captain isn't interested in explanations. She orders her soldiers to take out everything that's left. And just like that, the Special Unit soldiers quickly surround our MC. He raises his hands and identifies himself, but the captain orders them to fire anyway. But instead of shooting him, the soldiers destroy the aberration that was right behind him. The soldiers confirm the target's elimination as the creature's body disintegrates. At that moment, the captain begins to slowly walk towards him. She then questions him about his weapon, and our MC realizes he's in deep trouble. The captain orders all units to pull back from the outpost to a temporary defensive line. Over at the new location, a guard announces that no one gets in without Officer Song's permission. The leader then glances at a tablet, which shows the incident report a grand total of 37 casualties. This makes our MC a little nervous, because it looks like he's next on the hot seat. Tied to a chair, he asks why he's being detained since he's a victim, too. But the woman points out that he abandoned his post for 2 hours, and the attack happened right after he got back. So he figures he needs to find a way to pull the wool over their eyes and just cooks up some lame excuse. Just then, a soldier shows up, ratting out that our guy is always late and the captain never does anything about it. With a furious glare, our boy threatens him, telling him not to even think about blaming the captain for this. The officer just watches this little soap opera unfold and comments that the patrol team seems to have a lot of issues. Meanwhile, far away, the captain who was saved is all wrapped up like a mummy in a hospital bed and suddenly lets out a huge sneeze. Back at the interrogation, the woman looks over the MC's file and finds it a bit fishy that he managed to survive. He claims he's just scared of kicking the bucket, and since he used to be on the track team, he just booked it out of there really fast. The captain then asks why on earth he joined the army if he's so terrified of biting the dust. In his head, he reveals the real reason. He's been searching for his sister and absorbing monsters to get stronger. He thinks about how for 6 months, he's been playing the lone wolf, searching every last ruin for his sister. The captain gets in his face, accusing him of being a coward who abandoned his post and withheld information. Serious look, she asks if he understands the consequences, and he asks if he's going to be a disposed off. She leans in closer, asking about his hands, and our guy realizes she must have seen his arm. Whispering in his ear, she asks why he lied and what his real goal is. Suddenly, a massive tremor rocks the entire place, putting everyone on high alert. She asks if it's an earthquake, but the MC says that this feeling is all too familiar. He jumps to his feet and screams for them to run because a monster horde is on its way. But the officer isn't buying it. With a glint in her eye, she accuses him of just trying to make a run for it. So, she unleashes some kind of electric power and slams him to the ground, asking if he's ignoring her. The other guards get worried and tell the officer to take it easy, saying she's going overboard. The impact is so powerful that the entire floor gives way and everyone plummets into a massive hole. After the fall, they find themselves in a pitch-black space, and the officer wonders where the heck they are. Our boy, still in cuffs, looks around and realizes they've fallen into some kind of underground area. The leader complains about the darkness and orders one of her men to get some lights on stat. One soldier calls him a walking disaster, and our MC retorts that he can file his complaint after they get out of there. At that, one of the men cracks a glow stick to light up the path. The light reveals they're in a giant labyrinth, most likely dug out by those freaks. The leader tells everyone to stay calm and do a weapons check, just in case. She then grabs her rifle and orders them to hold formation and cover each other's six. Suddenly, a strange noise echoes through the walls of the dark cavern, putting everyone on edge. RMC seems to have picked up on something and stares intently in one specific direction. A soldier asks what's up, and he replies that he hears wind, which gets the guy all excited, thinking it's an exit. The soldier goes to check it out and confirms there really is a breeze, complementing the MC's sharp senses. He spots a light up ahead, but just then, a bug-like monster appears and our protagonist screams for him to GT do Dolan. The creature fires off some kind of projectile that barely misses the soldier, and the captain immediately returns fire. The thing's goo melts right through the floor, and our boy warns them not to let the creatures get close. The leader chews the soldier out for acting without orders, and the terrified guy just nods in agreement. She then turns to the MC and tells him that once they get out of this mess, he's got a lot of explaining to do. He realizes she must know his secret, but she's not calling him out on it. He wonders what her game is. Just then, another strange sound echoes through the cavern, and the group realizes something is closing in on them. A swarm of creatures that look like giant insects emerges, all glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. Then a massive horde of these bugs completely surrounds the group, causing one soldier to freak out at the sheer number of them.
Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.